Guys, MC Mura here, and today we're gonna talk about Season 3 of Street Fighter 6. We have had this patch for about 3 weeks now, and it is like the big patch of the year, although I have been seeing Capcom being more frequent with their patches. So a lot of us expected like major changes to the game, and I'm gonna be honest, when I first went through the patch notes, this patch didn't feel that major. It feels more on par with like the December or like the Terry patch, but they did change some of the mechanics, and I will say, now that I've had more time with it, the patch do feel bigger than I initially expected, although it still feels like a step in the right direction, but we're not fully committing. It feels almost like a half a patch. Like Capcom is experimenting with some changes, but there is still like 1 or 2 hidden changes in there that they still need to apply, but is testing the water. The best thing I would say, they are testing the water, right? Now, as you know, they changed parries where now you have to hold a pack and parry or a down pack and parry to parry mids or lows. And if you've been playing the game at all, you will notice that you're getting far less perfect parries, right? I would say the only parry type that is still prevalent is the anti-air parry. This is the ones I'm still seeing a lot, but grounded parries are not happening nearly as often, which is good because like nothing felt worse than like getting perfect parried and then I forgot to do the back. Nothing felt worse than getting perfect parried and then like being thrown in the corner, and then now you have to deal with like a throw loop or like a suffocating mix-up. So that's good, and I think the change to perfect parry is impactful. You really feel it the more you play the game, the more you feel like, alright, parries are happening far less. And when it happens where the opponent get like the imperfect parry, right, like, and you know, oh my god, I would have gotten back thrown or like I would have gotten comboed before. That feels good when that happens to you, right? So it's good. I would say that change is great. The change to parry is honestly great. But here is where it becomes like a double-edged sword. Capcom changed parries where they are objectively weaker, and you have to remember that they also made it prior where there is like perfect parry scaling now on like the drive damage when you happen to perfect parry and then throw get like the punish counter. Now there is scaling on that, right? We got to remember that. So parries in general are weaker, objectively weaker. But Capcom unfortunately didn't adjust the game around it. There are remnants of a game where parry was clearly meant to be a twitch reaction. Case in point, Dragon Lash, right? You can tell this was supposed to be that, like a twitch reaction. Now I got it actually, but I wasn't pressing back. I got like the directionless parry. So I did get the perfect parry, which is like the twitch reaction, how this move was initially designed to be like dealt with, but I still have to hold it, right? And this happens with moves like Dragon Lash, with moves like a Honda headbutt. Like it's just in your instinct to just down back or like walk forward and then parry, but that doesn't work anymore. Some of it is muscle memory that you have to get adjusted to, but I also think some of these moves needed to be adjusted to compensate for the perfect parry change. That's how it feels, right? But where it gets a lot worse is the drive rush, because that like perfect or going for like a perfect parry as an answer, especially to like close range drive rushes, that was one of the key ways you would deal with it. There, right? I got the perfect parry, but previously I would have gotten the punish, but now I'm not, right? That happens a lot. And characters that do have strong overhead low mix-ups, Kimberly, Elena does really feel like a season 3 character, right? She was clearly built, she was clearly balanced with the season 3 changes in mind, but unfortunately, like I said, a lot of the jump scares element, a lot of the twitch reaction, like twitch parry reaction moves, that's still not in the game, which makes it feel weird. It makes this patch feel like half a patch. Like I'm playing the game, and it is better. I have to say, because I don't want this to be taken as a negative video. I'm like, this patch is better than it used to be in season 2, and some of the changes to the top tiers like Mai, I do think is good, but still feel like it lacks something. right? Like there's still a change here or there that Capcom should have made, but they didn't. And they're probably like testing the water. They're probably seeing what worked, what didn't, and then maybe with Sagat, maybe with Viper, is gonna introduce even more changes. You have to remember that there are a couple of big tournaments coming up: the Esports World Cup and Evo, which are happening like back to back almost. So I think this is why Capcom was kind of like really conservative with this patch, right? So the long of it, the short of it, I should say, is less perfect parries. Perfect parries don't feel nearly as frustrating when you get perfect parried, and in general they don't they don't feel nearly as strong as they used to. But unfortunately, offense is even stronger. So if you were someone who was turned off because, oh my god, offense is too suffocating in Street Fighter 6, then this patch is even more aggressive, even more rush down. Low overheads are even more of a thing now, which is, well, it is their game. Now, I just want to talk about Elena as well, because obviously she is the character I've been playing the most in this new patch. And I will say, Elena feels good to me, but she does have some quality of life issues that I really dislike. For starters, let's actually show you like a character that will show you this perfectly, right? Because if you've been playing Elena, then you probably experienced this. Say that we're here and we did this combo, right? Medium kicker and horn, super, bam, level 3, you get the super, right? Great. If we're mid-screen, this will not work. Because unfortunately the super is still at like 8 frame startup, where a character like Akuma, if he does like DP into super, as a super now becomes 2 frame. And I'm sure if you're watching my video, you probably watch like Broski videos. So this style of inconsistency with Elena unfortunately happens so much, especially on like some of her moves, like that one for example as well. Whereas you will get stuff like that happening if you did it early, or like you do something like this and the level 2 super is not coming out. But the level 2 super sometimes will come out, but then it will hit in like the opposite direction. Sometimes this actually whiffs. Like that sort of quality of life issues with Elena is so common. That is probably like what annoys me the most about her. But her gameplay, I think, is actually really, really fun. Overall, she's like a really nice addition. I've already made like a complete video on her. There is still like more negative to her that I've been finding as I've been playing more and more. Like, I really dislike that she doesn't really have like a strong light to medium. Like this will work if you're very up close. It's like a pressure frame trap thing, but Akuma was gonna get this, right? Or Akuma's gonna get that, which is like way bigger, but that doesn't really happen with Elena. Remember when I talked about like the drive rush changes? Well, Elena have a fantastic anti-drive rush button, which is that standing medium. It's 8 frames, so it's on the slower end, but check this out, it's like 5 frames active. And that makes it like a great check for drive rush, right? It's a very active button, so if he's going for that, great, I get the target combo, I get the punish, I'm getting a lot of damage, that is really nice. But if, say, Akuma did this, and even so I checked, that obviously whiffs. And the first hit is only cancelable to super. So it's like you're gonna have to go Galaxy Brain and do something like that, which feels amazing when you do, but come on. Like that is so much work for a normal that is already slow. Elena in general feels kind of puzzling, and unfortunately I'm not seeing her that much. I'm not seeing any Elena in ranked, barely any mirrors, and even in like the Legends representation, I saw a graph recently and she's at the very bottom. Which is weird because typically people pick up like the new character. It doesn't seem like Elena is gonna be that impactful to the meta. But what I will say is that this patch overall feels better. It's a refined version of what Street Fighter 6 already was. If you have fundamental issues with the game aggressive nature, I think Capcom already have made it like very clear that this is a game where that they want. I personally don't really hate aggression, but I do want to see the game becoming a little bit more stable, mostly through damage reduction. I just want to see damage brought down a little bit so there is more interactions in the game. The game being aggressive in nature, I don't personally mind that much, but I will say something need to happen with Drive Rush, right? And I think in general, a lot of the moves, a lot of the jump scares needs to be adjusted. That's about it. What are your thoughts on the game? What are your thoughts on Elena? How are you finding everything so far? I would love to hear your thoughts about all of it in the comment section below. We'll be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Remember, the changes to Parry also include some muscle memory. It's gonna take us some time until we adjust, but I feel like overall this patch is good. It's a good step in the right direction. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.